Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and have a Merry Saturnalia.
What's Saturnalia?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Saturnalia is better known as kind of the original Christmas. Now, it used to be this week-long celebration, and I'd be happy to tell you all about it in this first ever episode of Taboo Topics. Alright, so I'm not going to go over all of the things that Saturnalia actually entailed. What I'm going to tell you is that it was a week-long celebration that started on the 17th of December and ran all the way until December 25th. Now, it was actually held by pagans in the Roman Empire, and one thing that they would do is pick one person to kind of represent all of the misdeeds of their town or community. And this will be their leader of misrule, I believe it was called. And anyway, they would force this person to eat and to do physical things. You know, they would just eat and eat, like be super gluttonous and do a whole bunch of things that they wouldn't usually do. You know, indulge in physical pleasures that they usually wouldn't indulge in. You can use your imagination on that one. And that was kind of like the way that it was supposed to go. Now, while this guy was kind of being tortured, or this woman or whoever it was being tortured, between the 17th and the 23rd, I believe, and the whole town would just go wild, like the purge. But it wasn't just one day, it was a whole week of purging, where the Roman courts were closed, and everyone could do whatever they wanted to until the 25th. And on the 25th, they would take this person and they would sacrifice him to the Lord of Misrule, right? They would sacrifice this person. And they believed that when they did this, that they were purging their community of like all sin and darkness, basically. And they did a few other things, like eat gingerbread men, and it would just be, you know, fried dough in the shape of people, and that was one of their traditions that we kind of stick to today, along with thousands.
Well, what about like Santa Claus? Where did his outfit come from? And, you know, like presents and ornaments and stuff? Does that have anything to do with Saturnalia?
No, actually that has nothing to do with Saturnalia. But there were Siberian and Arctic shamans that would dress up in Santa Claus type costumes and give out magic mushrooms to the people in their villages. And so these people had these crazy awesome trips from these presents from this guy dressed as Santa Claus, and kind of associated it with, you know, I guess Christmas, or we did after a while. After all, the mushrooms grow around the same time as the winter solstice. Another thing that's really cool is this is where reindeer come from, because they were seen as like shamanic spirit animals, because they would feed on these magic mushrooms that, lo and behold, grew at the bottom of pine trees. The more you know. Oh, and another thing, Saint Nicholas was a real person. If you're curious to learn any more about the connection between Saturnalia and Christmas and magic mushrooms, well, I placed a couple links in the description that you can click on. And like I keep saying in the rest of my videos, all feedback is appreciated. So that was my first ever episode of, I guess, Taboo Topics. If you liked it, like, comment, share, and hopefully you'll be back to see another episode of it. Peace.